Body literacy. Learning to read your body's signals. Becoming the expert in your own body. Body literacy and why it changes absolutely everything that follows. This week, I want to introduce you to the skill that sits beneath everything else that I will teach you. I call it body literacy. It is the ability to read your own body, to understand what your symptoms are telling you. And I want you to know that I go beyond the traditional definition. I want you to be able to respond to them in a way that supports your biochemistry rather than fights against it. As women, many of us have lost touch with our own bodies, with their natural rhythms. We often know our children's needs, our husband's needs, and even our dog's needs better than we know our own. When I ask a woman in my clinic what her body needs, she often pauses and then tells me honestly that she does not know. I want you to hear me clearly, beautiful. This is not a failing on your part. You were never taught body literacy. Most of us were taught the absolute opposite, to push through, to carry on, to wait until something was really wrong before we paid attention. Body literacy is what I see develop in my patients as they journey through the hierarchy of healing. So that means as they repair their gut, as they rebalance their hormones, as they reclaim their metabolic health for good, and then finally, the fourth pillar is as they release the trauma or the drama that they no longer need to carry. Over time, they become so attuned to their bodies that they begin to know what their body is lacking and what it needs without having to ask anyone. They work with their biochemistry rather than against it. This is what I want for you too, and this is where we are beginning. I want you to do something with me. Take a breath. Now, honestly, how is your body feeling right now? Not what you think you should be feeling, not what your last blood test said, just your body in this moment. If it felt a bit strange to be asked that question, please know that you're in good company. Most of the women who come to see me in my clinic cannot remember the last time anyone asked them that, and they cannot remember the last time they asked it of themselves. That is where we are going to begin. This week is a little different from the weeks that come before it and after it. I'm not giving you a protocol. I'm not giving you a tool. I'm giving you a skill. I call it body literacy, and it is the skill that underpins every other week of the Vitality Clinic. So let's begin. You have lost touch with your own body. If our busy modern lifestyle, or in our busy modern lifestyle, many of us have lost the capacity to pay attention to or understand our own bodies. We have become so disconnected that we no longer know how to live in harmony with our natural biorhythms. We know our children's needs. We know our partner's needs. We might even know our dog's needs. But when it comes to our own bodies, there is often a long pause and an honest answer that sounds something like, I do not know. I want you to hear me clearly on this. You were never taught this skill. Most of us were taught the opposite, to push through when we were tired, to eat by the clock rather than by our own hunger signals, to soldier through pain, take the painkiller, get on with it, get to work, not to make a fuss. We watched our mothers do the same, and we learned that fine was the correct answer to how you are, even when we're not fine. This is the predictable outcome of a culture that asks women to hand the authority of their own bodies over to someone else. A doctor, an app, a wellness influencer, anyone really, except themselves. This week, we begin to bring that authority home, not through forcing and not through shame, simply through paying attention. Your symptoms are signals, not failures. Here is the reframe I want to give you this week, beautiful. Your symptoms are not problems to push through. They are signals. They are your body speaking to you in the only language it has. And body literacy is the skill of learning to understand that language. Your mood swings, your fatigue, your brain fog, your bloating, your sleep disruption, your irregular periods, these are not random failings of a body that is letting you down. They are your body communicating something very specific about its biochemistry. When you learn to listen, you begin to understand what it is saying. Body literacy has 5 parts to it, and you will develop each of them as we move through the weeks of the Vitality Clinic together. First, number 1, the first is recognizing the signals your body sends you: hunger, fullness, fatigue, pain, mood shifts, energy, libido, the small everyday messages your body is always sending. Number 2, the second is identifying the patterns in those signals, how they occur over time, across your cycle, across the week, and across the seasons. Number 3, the third is understanding your unique hormonal rhythm, how estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, and insulin actually work together through your cycle, and what that means for how you feel each day. Number 4, the fourth is recognizing the biochemical connections, how food, stress, and sleep directly shape your hormones and your symptoms. Number 5, the fifth is translating all of that into informed health decisions, so that what you choose to do each day is based on what your body actually needs, rather than on what somebody else has told you. In perimenopause, body literacy matters more than at any other stage of your life. Your hormonal landscape is changing, and the strategies that worked for you in your 30s often stopped working. This is a neuroendocrine transition state where your entire brain and all of your hormones are rewiring and becoming something new. Your body is telling you something new. What this week is giving you is the beginning of a skill to hear it. Your cycle as your map. For those of you who still have a cycle, even an irregular one, I want you to know that your cycle is your most useful map. So, let us walk through it together, because most of us were never taught this properly. Day 1 of your cycle is the first day of a full bleed. From that day, your hormones move through 3 distinct phases. The follicular phase comes first, roughly days 1 through to 14, when estrogen rises, and in a healthy cycle, you may feel more energized and clear in your thinking. Then comes the ovulatory phase around mid-cycle, somewhere around day 14, when estrogen peaks and progesterone is produced once you've ovulated and a corpus luteum has formed. And then the luteal phase, the second half of your cycle, when progesterone should be high, and if no pregnancy occurs, both hormones fall away, which triggers your next bleed. And that takes us to approximately somewhere between a 28 and a 35-day cycle. Here is what is often not explained to women. The day of your cycle directly shapes your mood, your energy, your sleep, and even how your food is metabolized, your choices and the things that you want to and do not want to do. Every single day of your cycle, your biochemistry is doing something different. Once you begin to track your symptoms against the day of your cycle, you stop being surprised by your own body. When we get to the rebalance phase, I have the most incredible table for you that shows you what your body generally wants around which day of your cycle. You start to see that your body is not chaotic. It is a cyclical, and its cycles are knowable. For those of you whose cycles have become very irregular or have stopped altogether, please hear me. You can still develop body literacy. Your body still has rhythms. Weekly rhythms in your sleep, your energy, your mood, your hunger. When the cycle is no longer the framework, the calendar week becomes the framework. The principle is exactly the same. You notice, you write it down, and you look for the pattern over time. The 4 stages of competence. I want to share a framework with you that I find very freeing, because it tells you where you are right now in your relationship with your own body, and it removes the self-judgment that so many women carry. It is called the 4 stages of competence. Any skill, including this one, is learnt in 4 stages. The first stage is an unconscious incompetence. So you don't know what you don't know. And that goes for your body. You don't know what you don't know about your body. Most of us begin here. It is simply the starting point. The second stage is a conscious incompetence. You've become aware of the gap. You realize there is a whole language your body is speaking that you were never taught to read. This stage can feel uncomfortable, and it's exactly where many of you will be sitting this week. Please know that this discomfort is a very good sign. It is the moment real learning becomes possible. The third stage is conscious competence. You can now read your body's signals, but it still takes deliberate effort. You're tracking, noticing, applying what you're learning. This is the stage we're working in together throughout this Vitality Clinic year. The fourth stage is unconscious competence. The skill has become automatic. You no longer have to think about how to support your biochemistry. You simply live in alignment with it. Supportive choices are no longer a program you are on. They are simply the way you live. This is the end point I want for every one of you, and it is what I see in my patients who have journeyed through the hierarchy of healing: repair, rebalance, reclaim, and release. Beautiful. Simply naming the stage you're in dissolves a great deal of the self-criticism. If you've been telling yourself, I should already know this about my body, I want you to let that thought go today. Of course you do not. You do not yet. You were never taught it. The whole reason this Vitality Clinic exists is to walk you through these three stages, or these stages, should I say, one at a time. How body literacy is built. So let me tell you exactly how we begin to build this skill. Body literacy is not built by listening to a podcast or reading another book. It is built by paying attention to your own body, consistently and over time. The most important practice is also the simplest. One observation per day written down. You might choose to record your energy out of 10. I highly recommend to my patients that they choose to record the thing that bothers them most, because this will give you the most reward and the return on investment. So you might choose to record your energy out of 10, or the quality of your sleep, or your mood, or any pain you noticed that day, or your hunger, or your bowel motions, or the day of your cycle, if that still applies to you. You do not need to track all of these. You only need to choose one and do it consistently. After 30 days, you will have the beginnings of a map of yourself. After 90 days, you will have something that no doctor, no app, no algorithm could have given you. Your own record of your body, written in your own hand. This is where authority over your own health begins to come back to you. And please, beautiful, hear me on this. You do not need to design any of this for yourself. Inside the Vitality Clinic, you already have the lifestyle diary, the food diary, the mood diary, and the pain diary provided for you. Choose the one that fits the signal you want to track and use it. This is exactly what they're there for. Over time, these same diaries will also appear in the companion journal to my book that is going to be published on the 17th of July, 2026. This is Perimenopause, which currently has the working title, This is the Perimenopause Recipe Book and Healing Journal. But you don't need to wait for that. Everything you need is already inside the Vitality Clinic today. Before we finish today, I want you to do something with me. I want you to choose one signal, the one that feels most honest, or the one that you're most curious about right now. Energy, sleep, mood, hunger, day of your cycle, just one. Open your diary inside the Vitality Clinic and begin with that one signal tonight or tomorrow night. 90 seconds each evening, nothing more. The action for this week is to simply begin. I know, beautiful, that for some of you, even the small action will bring up some resistance. A quiet voice saying, I don't have time for this, or what's the point, or I already know what's happening in my body. In my clinic, I see that resistance very, very often, and in my experience, it's really about time. More often, it is a quiet worry about what might what one might see once we actually start looking. Please know that you do not need to feel ready. You only need to begin. Inside of the Vitality Clinic platform, we have some beautiful, powerful reflection questions for you. I'd like to share some of them with you now. When was the last time you stopped and asked your body what it actually needs? Whose needs do you know better than your own? And why do you think that is? If your symptoms could speak in plain English, what would they be telling you? Which signal from your body have you been ignoring the longest? And what is the cost of continuing to ignore it? I'll leave you to answer the rest of those beautiful questions inside of our platform. Inside of the platform, we have some practical implementation tips. These are very, very helpful. I highly recommend that you go and take some time to have a look at those. We have so many Q&As on this particular topic, and all of the information is inside of the Vitality Clinic platform. We have a beautiful community platform post on this exact topic. And I am so looking forward to seeing you inside the Vitality Clinic conversations where we can really pull this apart, bring it to life, and work on these together so that we can all become unconsciously competent and know our own bodies so beautifully. With so much love, warmly, Dr. Kirstey Holland. I hope you have an incredible day. Start to pay attention to yourself. It is a form of self-love and self-care.